Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be talking about massive news of how Quant could replace Swift. So before we talk about the main details of today's video, I'd like to show you a clip which features the CEO of Quant, Gilbert Verdian, among a number of individuals from a number of some other big organizations going into detail and providing insights in regards to stablecoins and CBDC developments. And they also stated as to how the SWIFT system could be under threat due to the development and protocol surrounding CBDC developments.
And the BIS had a paper on this last week, I think it was. There's an update to their CBDC survey, and now there's over 90% of central banks around the world who are actively engaged in some sort of research or pilot to go to production. I think as an interoperability platform, we do have the ability to interconnect various different types of DLTs and public blockchains, depending on the use case. We've done quite a bit of work in Europe with SIA, with Corda, and we've interconnected Corda with other DLTs, and we're doing that with partners of ours that have closed loop private digital assets running on Fabric, for example, that need to be unlocked and operated on other networks, external networks, for example. Our technology is the bridge to be able to securely interconnect and interoperate between different networks.
We know that not all CBDCs or stablecoins are created equal. Of course, we've talked about algo-backed, fiat-backed. CBDCs as well are all kind of emerging with different models and different characteristics.
We really don't see survivability of algorithmic or crypto stablecoins. What we actually see is a world of regulated and issued commercial stablecoins that are done by institutions, done by e-money license holders and commercial banks.
I think it's unlikely, though, that the world will land on a single common settlement platform, and I think that Maz, obviously, who were instrumental in driving this, have said that themselves. The threat to Swift, CLS, and others I suggest is real. We do see Swift making moves towards, becoming a value exchange network versus just a messaging network, whatever that means. I mean, you'd have to completely rewire that entire plumbing for that to be so, but it's not necessarily altogether impossible, I'd suggest.
So as detailed by the panel, the development and wide-scale rolling out of future CBDCs could have an impact on the usage of the SWIFT system. So Quant is actually at the centre of a number of initiatives and developments surrounding CBDCs. Most notably, Quant is one of the only organisations which has a direct partnership and is directly collaborating with some of the largest central banks around the world, most notably the Bank for International Settlement and the Bank of England, where the direct collaboration between Quant, the BIS and the Bank of England is all part of Project Rosalind. So Project Rosalind involves the collaboration between the three bodies and how this collaboration will see the testing of how APIs can facilitate retail payments in CBDCs and help explore innovative CBDC use cases. So the project is mainly centered around researching how future CBDCs could interact and how CBDCs will need some degree of interoperability with traditional architecture and legacy systems. So during Project Rosalind, it was found that the utility of API gateways will become increasingly more important and will play a key role in enabling CBDC systems to deliver a range of benefits in terms of payment functionality and security between a number of stakeholders within the financial sector, especially in the case of CBDCs. So the article went into further insights and provided further details about how the digitization of the economy due to the rolling out of CBDCs will lead to a number of initiatives and developments, especially in regards to the need for private sector programmability with CBDCs. And this will mean that API gateways, which is basically a interoperability channel, will become increasingly more important. So why did these central banks choose Quant in this initiative? So the main reason as to why Quant was involved in this development is due to Quant being the only network really that provides the ability for networks of varying backgrounds to interoperate and interact. So for example, Quant's innovation overledger provides the capacity for users and networks of varying backgrounds to communicate, for example, a blockchain network with legacy financial operating networks. So the utility of Overledger as an API gateway could be the best option in enabling CBDCs to interact with legacy systems and as well as CBDCs from other nations. So this was the main reason as to why Overledger was rolled out onto the open market. And this diagram here indicates how central banks and other financial bodies, including retail banks, could interact, and how, again, an overarching or multiple API gateways may be required to enable the direct communication between these financial bodies and all merchants and individuals. So with the rolling out of an API gateway in this example, Overledger, this will see improvements in the ability for actions surrounding the transferring of assets and value to be done so more congruently, and the capacity for datasets to be enabled and sent between a number of stakeholders more efficiently. So extremely exciting in terms of the potential utility of Quant's innovations in CBDC architecture and frameworks. So in a separate article provided by The Biz, it was stated how a single country's CBDC, when CBDC ledgers and the ledgers operated by payment providers for their clients, are using different frameworks. So as I previously mentioned, even though CBDCs are looking increasingly likely to be rolled out across the open market, where over 90% of central banks are looking to roll out their specific CBDC, these CBDCs may be backed by different technologies. So in cases especially surrounding cross-border payments and the sending of datasets and funds between varying CBDC ledgers, there will need to be some sort of API gateway. In this example, a potential usage of Overledger to enable and validate and verify the sending of such information between varying ledgers at any given time between these central banks. And this is all encompassed also with, again, as I mentioned, central banks being required to communicate with retail banks within their given economy. So a number of key figures within the financial realm have actually come forward and voiced their commentary about Project Rosalind, where Danny Russell, who was a key figure within DLT development, stated how Project Rosalind, in cases surrounding the ability for retail CBDCs to interact with varying networks and ledgers, was a resounding success when API gateways, in this example Overledger, was actively utilized. So with it looking like Project Rosalind was a resounding success, this indicates how the potential utility and incorporation of API gateways in the case of Overledger could become increasingly more attractive, and it makes abundant sense as to why Overledger could be harnessed for this initiative. As I mentioned, it's the only network and protocol on the marketplace that provides API connectivity, and time will tell in regards to whether Overledger is rolled out onto the open market and used by a number of stakeholders, be it central banks, retail banks, individuals or merchants. So how does this all connect with Swift? So at the moment, Swift is mainly used for messaging service capabilities and the sending of funds around the world. However, Swift is quite limited in their ability to enable near instantaneous payments and the sending of assets around the world. And with the rolling out of CBDCs looking likely to be based on DLT, this means that actions involving CBDC transactions will be a lot faster compared to Swift's services. So this means that Swift may slowly be replaced by the new CBDC system, and this is coupled with potentially API gateways becoming more important, and as a result Overledger could be an option to replace Swift and in turn become the main player in enabling the sending of assets and datasets around the world, especially between central banks. So with all of these actions and use cases connected to Quant, especially its Overledger platform, this makes Quant services extremely exciting and attractive, and time will tell in regards to whether these developments become a reality. And if they do, it will be huge for QNT token holders, where QNT token holders may potentially see huge returns on their investments, especially due to the utility of Quant services, most notably Overledger, being connected to the paying of licensing fees, where when a body chooses to pay for a licensing fee, they can only do so through QNT tokens. And this is coupled with the potential sending of datasets through overledger services being actively verified and enabled through QNT. So this is a double whammy benefit of holding QNT, and the dual utility of QNT in this manner could bring about further rises to the price of QNT, especially over the long run. What are your thoughts on Quant? Are you bullish on Quant's potential utility in API gateways for CBDCs? Let us know your views in the comments below. Thank you for watching Crypto Clan. Don't forget to like, subscribe and click on the notification bell. Let us know your views in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.